Every year, 6% of Bahamian
children are born with a heart defect.
We at Cable 12
and the Nassau Guardian decided
to lend a helping hand
in creating more awareness to the cost of saving little hearts.
One surgery
can cost up to
$250,000.
We at Cable 12
and the Nassau Guardian
hear their cry.
We are asking you
to make a donation
to these efforts.
Embrace the opportunity
and save a little heart.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Here's what's making news tonight. An emotional reunion as Stephen Wrinkle and Adina Farah released on bail. A man found shot dead at home. The coroner is investigating. Teachers outraged over pending budget cuts, plus an update on LPIA's expansion. Those stories and much more on the way, and the Kia DeVoe and NB12 starts right now. Thanks again for joining us here at NB12. It was an emotional scene outside Her Majesty's prison today as contractor Stephen Wrinkle and Adina Farah were released from the Fox Hill facility. Days after being sentenced to 1 year in prison, both were granted bail by the Court of Appeal this morning. Our cameras were rolling as they were embraced by relatives. Vonning Toot has the story you'll see on just one station.
Stephen Wrinkle and Adina Farah have been reunited with their families after spending 3 nights here at Her Majesty's prison. They are two families brought together by circumstance. On Tuesday, 61-year-old building contractor Stephen Wrinkle was sentenced to 1 year in prison after he was convicted of stealing electricity between February and March 2011. That same day, 36-year-old tour guide Adina Farah was also sentenced to 1 year behind bars for assaulting police officers in January 2011 as they tried to take her into custody. But today, the pair, represented by attorney Wayne Monroe, was granted bail by Court of Appeal President Anita Allen, less than 15 minutes after their bail hearing began. Their families waited patiently together outside Her Majesty's prison this afternoon for them to walk through those prison gates. Adina's mother cried as she wrapped her arms around her daughter. Minutes later, Wrinkle emerged, clutching a green duffel bag. He was embraced by his wife Gail and Farah's family.
Well, of course, it feels very good to be out. I want to thank the justices of the Court of Appeal for acting so swiftly. And, of course, the staff here at the prison were very, very accommodating. They went out of their way to make sure that I was dealt with respectfully and cordially, and I'm gracious for that. We look forward to clearing our name in the court of law.
Farah, who cried in court before the bail hearing began this morning, was also happy to be back with her family. She says the past 3 days have taught her one thing.
I was not made for jail. I was not made for jail. I'm just so happy that the Court of Appeal saw right through this, and I hope justice will be served.
And were you expecting to be granted bail today? I know at one point you were crying before the bail hearing began.
2 years ago, I thought I wouldn't even be in this place. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect at all. The 3 days took a toll.
Farah and Wrinkle say their family's unwavering support has kept them strong during this trying time.
I'd also like to thank my family, all the people that supported me, friends, Wayne Monroe and Associates, Jomo Campbell, thank you very much. Thank you. I can't, thank you seems like too little of a word.
Well, naturally, we felt great to be exonerated and given the liberties that we take for granted. And I think anyone that's ever been up here realizes that you can't take those for granted. You have to fight for them, and we will do that. I want to thank all of my family and friends and our church that have people that have reached out to us the length and breadth of the country.
Farah was granted bail in the amount of $1,000, while Wrinkle was granted $2,000 bail. The Court of Appeal president set the matter down for hearing for as early as April. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonik Toot.
Another family is left to mourn the death of a loved one, but this latest incident appears to be a suicide. At least that's what family members who discovered Jamal Kemp's body believe. But police say it is still too soon to classify his death. Friends and relatives were inconsolable as police processed the scene this morning. Relatives of the victim called out Kemp's name as his body was removed from the house on Tiana's Crescent just off Ferguson's Way. His mother, father, wife, siblings, aunts, and cousins held each other as they tried to figure out what went wrong. One of his relatives told us that some family members were outside the home just before 9 a.m. when they heard what sounded like gunshots. When one of them went to investigate, they found Kemp dead. They say it appears that he shot himself in the mouth. But Public Affairs and Communication Officer Chrislyn Skippings said police cannot confirm those details just yet, and at last report the incident was not classified.
At this particular time, I'm going to limit my comments to informing that it is a shooting incident. We are actively investigating, and so as soon as we're able to classify this particular incident, we will pass that information on to you. So at present, we haven't classified this particular incident.
Family members continued to wail as Skippings gave the very vague details. She said officers planned to meet with the family and try to get a sense of what happened. Coroner Linda Virgil was also on scene and will be investigating the death. Kemp's wife, who did not give us her name, said she spoke with her husband just 2 minutes before he died. She said he was dealing with a lot of stress and worked 2 jobs. The father of 2, a 3-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl, was a manager at Compass Point and a waiter at Footprints at Albany. While Skippings did not confirm that the incident was a suicide, she did send this message to people who are stressed out or considering taking their own lives.
I would encourage you to utilize the agencies that we have available here. We have the Community Counseling Assessment Center. We have the Crisis Center. You have pastors. You have guidance counselors. You have family members. There may be other persons in society who you look up to who can provide you with the needed advice that can help you through this time. There's no reason to give up. There's no reason to give up. Situations and trials come to make you stronger. And so I just want to encourage persons to reach out to the relevant agencies, find someone who you can talk to. You need to vent, you need to let it out. Problems have always been here, they will continue to be here. The thing is that we need to know how to manage them.
After police cleared the scene, family members went into the room where Kemp died and became emotional once again. Inspector Skippings and Coroner Virgil offered condolences to the family. Well, Virgil also spoke briefly on the investigations into the deaths of 33-year-old Jamie Smith and 20-year-old Aaron Roll, who died while detained at 2 different police stations in Nassau last week. Virgil said investigations are ongoing and she has an idea of when the inquests will begin, but did not want to give any details. Virgil explained why she remains tight-lipped on the investigations.
We hold an inquest with a jury. That jury pool must be picked from persons within this country. And if I were to speak to the system, what you will find happening is that those very same persons will come with made-up minds, perhaps. So that is why I prefer not to comment at all on the actual process.
Now, Smith and Roll's deaths prompted public outcry and international scrutiny. Bahamians have called for answers from police, and Amnesty International yesterday bashed the Royal Bahamas Police Force, saying in a statement that the continuous lack of justice for unlawful killings at the hands of the police shows that the authorities are not doing enough to ensure that investigations are thorough, independent, impartial, and timely. Virgil says she's not surprised by all the attention surrounding the incidents.
Actually, it is people inquiring and wanting to know what has happened, what is going to happen, and what will happen. And I invite and encourage all persons to come to the coroner's office. We're located at Victoria Gardens. We are bounded by 4 streets: Parliament Street on the west, East Hill Street on the south, Shirley Street on the north, and East Street on the east. So do come by and speak with us, pick up a booklet, and so you'll be informed and told precisely the role of the coroner, the role of the coroner's court, and inquiries are welcome.
Now, she also noted that the number for the coroner's court in the telephone directory is incorrect. She encouraged anyone with inquiries to call the court at 323-2994. Well, Prime Minister Perry Christie also weighed in on the issue and responded to Amnesty International today. Speaking to reporters, Christie said the investigation will be an independent one.
I think you're going to find that we're going to have a very accountable investigation, meaning that we know who's doing the investigation. All of the facts will be made available to everyone based on what they found. The government obviously will require it, the Commissioner of Police will require it, and the Bahamas, the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security, the government of the Bahamas, all of us truly understand that when people are in custody, it is expected that they will be treated in a manner that is consistent with the civilization we have.